Okay. So today's lesson we're going to do on 5-paragraph essays. I know that y'all had an essay where you read a book and then watched the movie and did comparisons of the movie and the book, right? Okay. And so, judging from those, we decided we needed to have a little help, a little remediation with essays. And I know y'all's was 4-paragraph, but we're going to talk about 5 because that's what you're mainly going to have is 5-paragraph essays. And we'll get started. Let's see. Go ahead and take your seat. Okay, these are the state standards that we're going by when we do a 5-paragraph essay. We're going to write narratives to develop real or imagined experiences or events using effective technique, relevant descriptive details, and well-structured event sequences. And then this is going to be a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty much, we're going to engage the reader, we're going to use dialogue, and we're going to use transition words and phrases and bigger sentences than just 3- and 4-word sentences. But the main things are these two. We're going to write sentences with varying sentence structure, meaning we're not just going to write a simple sentence. This is a dog. This is a cat. The cat likes to play. The dog likes to run. We're going to have varying sentence structures to make our essays more mature than when we would write in elementary, since we're 7th and 8th graders. And we're also going to use graphic organizers or outlines to organize sequence of events in a story. And this is really going to help, and I'm going to show you because I wrote a 5-paragraph essay for this exact reason. And I wrote this in probably 5 minutes because of my graphic organizers. And so I'm going to kind of show you how that works and how it'll help you in the future, okay? Keep pushing the wrong button. Your prior knowledge, sentences and sentence structure. We all know how to write a sentence, right?
Yes.
I know we probably need to be reminded sometimes. Grammar. This is a big thing. When you write an essay, you want to go sentence by sentence and check your grammar to make sure that your grammar is correct. And that means that your subjects and your verbs agree, and your sentences make sense, okay? And then punctuation. We all know what punctuation is. Periods, question marks. That's the simple ones. But what about commas when you have a compound sentence and things like that? So we're going to have to recall our punctuation rules. Okay? What is an essay? It's a short piece of writing on a particular subject. Y'all know that, right? Okay? What are the parts of an essay? Well, this is where we come into our 5 instead of our 4, okay? The introduction. You have an attention getter, something that draws their attention. You narrow down towards your thesis, then you have a clear thesis or an essay map. And a thesis is your sentence that's going to tell your reader what this whole entire essay is going to be about, okay? And then you have your body and your paragraphs. It can be more than 3, but we're going to focus on 3, okay? Each one is going to have a topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence. And so here you're going to have a conclusion where you restate your thesis, you summarize your argument, and you have a thoughtful ending, okay? So if we need, well, we'll wait till we get to the next slide to do that. Okay? So capture, you want to grab your reader's attention and build to a great thesis sentence, okay? You want to have some kind of line that is going to grab their attention and say, I want to finish reading this. Claim, each body paragraph should contain an original thought or claim with supporting statements. So when y'all did your paper on the movie and the book, you should have had statements from the book. This happened in the book on page blah, 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 and then this didn't happen in the movie. Or this happened in the book and this did happen in the movie. You had claims, you had statements, you went back and cited evidence. You have to have stuff that makes sense in your body paragraphs. And then your conclusion will provide a summary, meaning, of course, you summarize what you've already written, and a review of your thoughts. And hopefully your conclusion will give them something to think about or have persuaded them to do what you wanted them to do. It all depends on the kind of essay that we're writing. And that's where we get to the different types of essays. A narrative essay is like the one I did, okay? It's telling a story. In a narrative essay, the writer tells a story about a real life experience, and I'm going to tell you the story about when I adopted my cat. A descriptive essay is painting a picture. This is you describing something so that when the reader is reading it, they literally can see it in their head, okay? You're painting a picture for them. As they read, they can see exactly what you're describing. Expository essay is just the facts. This is if you had to write the facts about how many kids drop out of school a year in Dallas County. You would just give us the facts, okay? And a persuasive essay is to convince me of something. Like I could give you a topic of, should we have to wear uniforms to school every day? And you would have to write a 5-paragraph essay on whether you think you should have to or whether you think you shouldn't. And you need to be able to persuade me. Or a literary, which is kind of what y'all did, writing about a work of literature. And that's what y'all did when you read the book and then watched the movie. Y'all did a comparative, but you also were doing it on a piece of literary work. Okay, and this is where I was talking about sentences. Instead of see Spot run, this is Spot, the cat, you know. So this sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a stuck record. The ear demands variety. Those were all just 5-word sentences. And it just got kind of like blum, 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 didn't it? Something like you read in kindergarten. See Spot run. Spot has spots. Spot likes the cat, you know. But now listen. I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing sings. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lilt, a harmony. I use short sentences and I use sentences of medium length. Look at this one. This one's even just 1 word. This one's 3. But it still sounded a lot better than just the 5s over and over and over again. Okay? It doesn't have to be a 15-word sentence, but it just needs to vary. Okay? What is a paragraph? We should all know what a paragraph is, but we're going to review. Yes? Okay. A paragraph is made up of sentences. A paragraph should have at least 5 sentences. That's right. A paragraph has a topic sentence, which is usually the first one, which tells you what that paragraph's going to be about. And then each sentence after that has to relate to a single idea about the main topic. Yes. Paragraphs explain or describe something, and a paragraph has a topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence. So if you already know that you're going to have 2 that are, one's a topic and one's a concluding, how many supporting sentences do you need to make?
3. Wait, 2.
3 to make 5, because each paragraph should have at least 5. And you can have more than that. Good math. We may have to do math next. Okay? And these are just some ways to start introductions instead of just plainly starting out. These are different sentences that can help you start out different sentences, paragraphs even. Many people think that. Many people believe. Many people think. Some people think. Some people believe. Some people. I used to think. I used to believe. I used to. In the world. Supporting statements. One time. Another time. One example of this. Another example. One reason. Another reason. One way that. Another way that. And it's okay to use this maybe in one paragraph, but let's not do it in every paragraph. Have one way to teach your dog a new trick is this. Another way to teach your dog a new trick is this. And another way. This is just giving you some ideas on how to start different sentences, but you don't want to start every one with that. Opinion statements. So if we were to do the paper on should you have to wear uniforms to school, I think kids should have to wear uniforms to school or should not have to. I believe that, or I realize that. And then in conclusion, as I look back, I realize, now I know that. I know one thing for sure, from now on, I will always, and I learned that. So that's just some different sentences, and I'll give y'all all a handout of the PowerPoint so that when you do get to write your 5-paragraph essay, you'll kind of have these clues and hints to help you out. Okay? This is something that I did this summer in a class I took, and it was very interesting. Look is not it's not used as often as said. Think about how many times he said, she said, I said, they said. How many times you say said? Think about that.
A lot.
A lot, okay? So instead of looked, let's look. Peeked. Instead of saying he looked through the window, he peeked through the window. Just an idea on how to do different words, so you're not always using the same one. Examine. So instead of I looked at my test, I examined my test. Gaped. What do you think that looks like?
Gaze.
Hmm?
Yep.
Look.
Like gay?
It means
Stared
look.
at?
Yes. Like he gaped at the monster or something like that. Okay? Or searched. Instead of I looked for my lost dog, I searched for my lost dog. Just see how simple that is, but it's just not something you think about if you're constantly just using the same old words. And then scouted. He scouted out food in the forest instead of he looked for food in the forest. Okay? So, I want y'all to, I don't know if you can kind of get in a couple of groups or just whatever, but get together and have somebody write down a couple of words that you could use other than said. Other than said. Usually a couple minutes, y'all come up with a couple of words. And I'll give you an example. What about he yelled? I heard shouted. That's good. Keep going. Very good. Have them write it down. We're just going to take about a minute. Yes.
See, look, she's sitting there just for
I'm gonna listen to you. I was trying to
All right, back to your seats, and then let's get some examples.
Stated.
Shouted.
Okay, I heard shouted. That's a good one. Stated.
Stated.
Hold on. Shouted. Claimed. That's a good one.
Said.
Reported.
Gossip.
Whisper.
Reported.
Duty.
Duty.
She talked to you.
Right is good.
Stated.
All right, I'm gonna do explained as the last one.
Convinced.
All right, y'all did awesome at that. That's exactly what I mean. Convinced could be one. So you see how easy it is to get in the routine of just constantly using just the simplest word you can think of. Why not just take a second and think of something different? You know? Just think of something different that could make your sentence, your paragraph, your essay just a little bit more mature, a little bit different than just constantly, you know, using words that we use all the time. All right? Let me erase this. Not for me, the board doesn't work either, so I know. All right, very good. Thank y'all. Oh, I hadn't noticed, but look. Okay? Now, let's say that Ms. Denson gives you she doesn't give you a 5-paragraph essay. Instead, she tells you this one has to be 750 to 1,000 words,
That can't be.
or it has to be 3 to 5 pages long. Okay?
No, I won't do it.
All right?
This is short story.
So you're sitting here writing, you're thinking, oh my, how am I gonna get these words in?
So easy.
Okay, well here's a sentence. My room was a mess.
That ain't a sentence.
That's a sentence. But what else could you do to this
That's opinion.
to give yourself some more wordage,
Oh, my room is a big mess.
right?
Explain why your room was a mess.
Thank you. Explain why your room was a mess.
My room is a huge mess.
A huge mess. Good.
Explain why made it messy.
Exactly. Explain. My room is a disaster.
Why was it messy?
Exactly.
Was my room so messy?
Okay, good one. He stole it, okay? So, this you have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. You have 5 words and you're fixing to move on to the next point. You're thinking, how am I gonna get all these words in? Well, look what. Now you have 55 words. Don't count it because I think it's 53 or something. But, my room was a crazy, I forgot the word I didn't go back and check. My room was a crazy mess. Stuff was everywhere. I had clothes thrown over a chair in the corner. Shoes were spilling out of my closet. Look, some comma. And dirty, stinky socks could not find their matches. The bed was unmade with the comforter thrown on the floor. There was even a dirty bowl hiding under my bed.
There's 53 words.
Okay, 53, that's what I thought. So, see how you can add words by just using description, just describing, instead of just writing, my room was a mess. And then thinking, that's 5 words, I got 745 more to go. All of a sudden, if you just are creative and like you said, explain things, continue to go with things, you will end up with a lot more. I decided we're gonna skip this because it's just redoing
What?
all this, it's just redoing all the same thing. Catch the reader's attention, give informative in the middle, and then at the end conclude with all that.
That's in your room.
Okay? Now this, you can use, and I'm gonna give you all handouts of these too, you can use the hamburger, and you can plot out your whole essay with this, or you could use 1 hamburger for each paragraph, which I used a hamburger for each paragraph, and I'm gonna kind of show y'all. And then this one is my favorite, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it reminds you what to do in your introduction paragraph, okay? Get a hook that's gonna grab the reader's attention, and then your theses. And then it gives you a little bit of room for your topic sentence, a little bit of room for details, and your closing in each body paragraph, and then it reminds you what to do in your closing paragraph. And what I like about that is that it doesn't give you the opportunity to write a whole entire sentence and get you overwhelmed. So I'm going to show you what I did for my essay. Literally after I wrote out this organizer, it literally took me 5 minutes to come up with the essay, okay? So this is how I filled out my organizer. And it's really kind of blurry. But I did write out the hook, which is, have you ever needed someone who is always there for you? Wouldn't that kind of make you go, yeah? Let's see where she's going with this. Theses, the day I decided to adopt my cat Wormy was one of my best decisions. And then for my body paragraph, okay, I didn't write out sentences. I wrote out little words to remind me, build a sentence on this, build a sentence on this. I didn't build my sentences in my graphic organizer, okay? Adopt, not buy. Saves a life. Cheaper. Millions of unwanted pets. Lots to choose from. Made me happy. Okay, so that's going to be paragraph 1. Okay? Paragraph 2. Hoity-toity adoption center. See how I used hoity-toity? That's kind of a funky way to say they were what?
Used?
Stuck-up snobs. They were stuck up. Yep. Okay? Saddest. That's a word to remind me of something. You'll find out when I read mine. She's perfect, sleeps with me. Plays fetch, best friends. Okay, my last one. Her name, got sick, returned her, all worms, became wormy, and nursed her. And then for my closing paragraph, adopting Wormy changed my life, and adopting saved one life and gave me my best friend. So do you see how I did that? I didn't have to panic and write all these sentences. I just wrote little words that were going to remind me of what sentences to write. So if I was going to do a hamburger with my first body paragraph, okay, my topic is adopt, don't buy. Okay? My first detail is it saves a life. My second detail, cheaper. My third, millions of unwanted pets. And then my closer is going to be lots to choose from. My handwriting is getting bad down here. Okay, so I'm going to read you my first paragraph real quick, which is my introduction with my hook and my theses. Have you ever felt that you need someone or something that is always there for you and on your side? I felt that way after leaving home and heading to college. I had lots of friends, but missed my pets that I had left at home. I wanted something to come home to that would be happy to see me no matter what. I decided to adopt a cat, and it was one of my best decisions. Okay? So my hook was, have you ever felt that you needed something that is, someone or something that is always there for you and on your side? Okay? So now, just these words, and this is how I made this second paragraph in no time, okay? I decided to adopt a homeless cat instead of buy one. Adoption is much cheaper. They usually include a vet visit and spay-neuter with your adoption. Besides being cheaper, it saves the life of a homeless pet. There are millions of homeless pets in shelters all across the United States. Many of them do not ever find homes. The adoption place had a lot of different cats and kittens to choose from, and I was able to pick out the one that fit me perfectly. So you see how simple? These simple words just helped me build sentences that built that paragraph in no time. And I'm just going to read you the rest of it, and then, yes?
You don't have but one?
Y'all can ask that afterwards. We'll get off track quick with that. Okay, so y'all remember my
Yes.
graphic organizer. I went to the hoity-toity adoption place where I had to fill out 7 pages of an application where they had to approve me to be able to adopt. I was approved and went in the cat and kitten room and spotted the saddest but most beautiful cat in the room. When we got home, she was just perfect. She slept on top of me and stayed still until I woke up, so not to disturb me. She learned to play fetch and entertained me all the time. She greeted me every day when I came home and quickly became my best friend. I named her Lily, but she quickly became sick and had to go to the vet. There they told me that she was the sickest cat that they had ever seen and that I should return her. I would not give up on her, not ever. She had every kind of worm you can imagine, ringworm, tapeworm, etc. Because of this, she quickly became known as Wormy to all of my friends and family. I nursed her back to health, and the name Wormy stuck. Adopting Wormy changed my life in so many ways. She gives me something to care for and brought a love of saving animals to my life. I now work to rescue homeless animals from our shelter and help them find homes. Wormy is 15 years old now and still the most endearing and beautiful cat that I have ever met. The day I adopted her, I saved her life, and she gave me a new best furry friend. Heard it making noise, okay. Heard it making noise, so anyway, do you see how when you use graphic organizers, it can make it so much simpler to just kind of jot down some quick ideas, and then after you jot them down, you can then make them into sentences and into paragraphs and quickly into an essay. It took me no time to write that essay. Okay, any questions?
Oh,
Yeah.
how many cats do you have?
I have 3 cats that are mine, and then I have another kitten that I found in the Jack's drive-through that I'm hoping to find out.
Hold up.
It ain't funny.
In the window?
No,
It's taking your order.
out the window. He was me out in the bushes.
The cat don't take your order.
Any questions?
I'm like a big jack.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.